Welcome aboard the Culture Station. My name is Vince. Let's see what we find out there today.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you all had a good weekend. Hope you're having a great Monday, too. First off, I want to start by apologizing for not having updated in a couple of days and not putting anything out there. It just got hectic and I lost track, and it won't happen again. I will at least put some kind of Twitter or community update in the future. That being said, let's get into this video. I was actually considering not doing any kind of review for Loki episode 2 and 3 because they're horrible, because they're hard to watch. I tried both, all 3 episodes, actually, 1, 2, and 3. I kind of find myself getting really fidgety and really just hard to sit still and watch, and I want to play with my phone, and I want to blah, 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 blah. And it's actually making it's hard to watch.
It was the next day, brothers, and I had truly done my best morning and afternoon to play it their way and sit like a horror show cooperative malchick in the chair of torture while they flashed nasty bits of ultra-violence on the screen. Though not on the soundtrack, my brothers, the only sound being music. Then I noticed in all my pain and sickness what music it was that, like, cracked and boomed. It was Ludwig van. Ninth Symphony, 4th Movement.
It's so boring. It's so slow. And whenever things do happen, 90% of the time, I just want to throw up because it's horrible.
Cool. You know, I don't know if you guys had any of that pie already, but that is some tasty stuff. That's from the bake sale that Lois was...
Ooh, one down. I know somebody who won't be having any...
I'm starting to feel funny.
Well, I feel fine. I guess I'm gonna...
Oh, boy! That means I win! I get to eat...
That it's hard to watch. It's hard to review for that reason. And I have no one to watch it with to bounce ideas off of because nobody wants to watch this crap. My wife won't watch it with me. Sister won't watch it with me. Daughter won't watch it with me. It's bad. But then I saw this article here by CBR. Loki season 2 continues to explore the series' best concepts, where they go to talk about how how the romance in the background between Loki and Sylvie in season 1 and Ravonna and Kang in this season are really the best part of the show, and they're what make the show so great. And with them doing that, oh my god, it's such an amazing show, and it draws you in, and it doesn't let you go, and it's the best show ever. And seeing stuff like that, I had to at least put something out there. So not a full point by point review, but just my quick thoughts on season 2, episodes 2 and 3. With episode 2, it's a Loki and Mobius centric episode, and a lot of walking and talking, sitting and talking, eating and talking. There's 2, maybe 3 scenes where you see people eating. I can't remember for sure. I want to say 3. Yeah, there is 3, because you have Loki and Mobius eating the pie, in which Loki never eats. The whole time he's just sitting there twiddling the whipped cream around with his spoon, never once puts it in his mouth. Then you have Sylvie eating the Big Mac, which looks so much better than today's Big Macs. That McDonald's looks so much nicer than today's McDonald's. Looked warm and inviting, where today's McDonald's all look, corporate and plastic, and like they want to get you in and out as fast as possible. They want you there for your money. Whereas before, it looked like they wanted to keep you happy and, actually be a pleasant environment. But neither here nor there. And then you have Mobius eating and Brad, I think his name was, if I remember right, drinking the milkshake. Which speaking of Brad, that brings me to this episode. Episode 2 was basically an entire episode of Loki, Norse god of mischief, half giant trickster god, as guardian magic, which he uses magic finally, which was, when, again, like I've said in my review for the first episode, when you turn your brain off and just focus on the moment by moment what's on screen. Loki using his magic again. It's like, oh, Loki horns, magic green powers. It was cool looking, but it was episode 2 was an entire episode of Loki, god of mischief, needing the entire episode to break a human named Brad, to break him in interrogation and get him to, and they don't actually break him until he, like, they don't fully break him until he is about to get pruned by their little bomb that they're setting off. So it wasn't even Loki that got it done. And, like, everything was so predictable. The moment Loki walked into the room with Mobius, and they were doing the good cop bad cop thing, and then he locked Mobius out of the room, I was like, oh yeah, great. It's a trick. It's a trick. Everybody knows it's a trick. I'm surprised the Brad guy didn't call him on it's a trick, but since that's the smartest the Marvel writers could come up with, I guess they couldn't have the guy they were interrogating be smart enough to figure it out, because then they would be screwed. They couldn't figure it. They couldn't have another thing after that, right? So yeah, that was episode 2. It was horrible. It was boring. Episode 3, they go back to 1880 something. 1890 something. I don't know. It was after the Chicago fire, I believe. I don't know. They go back to in Chicago. I watched it the night it came out, and anyways, so they go back to Chicago in the 1800s to the World's Fair, and while they're there, and by they I mean Mobius and Loki go back to Chicago World's Fair in the 1880s, and they find a Mr. Timely putting on a presentation, so they go check it out, and Mr. Timely is a He Who Remains variant, a Kang variant, and Jonathan Majors' acting in this scene is just so interesting, to put it nicely. Weird, bad, unique. Pick one. I guess to each their own. But I wasn't a fan of his delivery. I don't know why Marvel thinks it's so great. But yeah, his delivery is just weird. And in the episode, it turns out that 20 years earlier, Ravonna and Miss Minutes had been there, and they gave the He Who Remains variant as a child a TVA handbook, which he then studied and used and learned about to make his inventions and become the little trickster. And he's basically a con man, right? That's his whole thing. Is he because of the TVA handbook, he can invent things that shouldn't exist yet, but because of the technology not being up to snuff, that the things don't actually work. And so he's just a con man who sells his fake inventions and runs, right? So while Mobius and Loki are watching his presentation at the World's Fair, Ravonna is also there watching it with Miss Minutes in her purse, who's gone into like a sepia tone or monotone, but not really black and white, but like a sort of black and white. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, black and white, I guess, like an old school Mickey style, Oswald the Rabbit style looking thing. She already had that kind of visual design anyways, and in the black and white, it really goes with that, like a Betty Boop cartoon style thing. Then after the end of his presentation, it turns into a two-way little tug of war between Mobius and Loki and Ravonna and Miss Minutes to try and convince Mr. Timely to go with them. Then Sylvie shows up, big fight, blah, blah, blah. It's just, then there turns into some cat fightiness while Ravonna, Miss Minutes, and Mr. Timely are getting away, where Ravonna's trying to hit on Mr. Timely. Ravonna is trying to hit on Kang, and Miss Minutes is getting jealous. And then Miss Minutes backstabs Ravonna and gets Ravonna thrown off a boat into the ocean. And then Miss Minutes kind of tips her hand, and Kang tries to kill her. And and then it turns into a girl power fight between Sylvie and Rio and Ravonna, and it's just I can't even I can't. I'm trying to give some kind of my incoherence here in this review is about as coherent as this show is being. It's poorly written. It's strangely acted. It's a lot of time wasting. A lot of time wasting. A lot of retconning, saying that Loki throwing Tony Stark off the building was because it was a fit of anger, and it wasn't. It was something he shouldn't have done. It wasn't a tactical move. It was just him letting his emotions get the better of him, and it's like I don't know who this character is. This Loki. It's not Endgame. It's not Infinity War. It's not Ragnarok Loki. I guess not Endgame. It's not Infinity War or Ragnarok Loki. But it's also not Avengers 1 Loki, who, when he scooped that dude's eyeball out, smiled afterward. He was fine. He loved it. He enjoyed the carnage, right? So I don't know who this character is. I think if this show is what Marvel's relying on to save them, I don't think it's going to work very well for them. I don't think this is going to go the way they want it to. I think this is just digging the grave even deeper for the brand, for the franchise. I know that I personally have nieces and nephews that are the prime age for kids to be into the superhero crap, right? Like as my dad would have called it. You know, when I was their age, all the birthday parties were Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, because those were the big shows on TV. Those were cartoons on TV, right? Justice League. I've yet to be to a single Spider-Man, Iron Man, Avengers, Batman, anything American. I'm going anytime I see anything and it's themed. I mean, with Halloween coming up, keep an eye out. Look, all you'll see anime costumes. If there's any kind of cartoon costume, anime costumes. You might see a few Batman, you might see a few Spider-Man, because those are eternally popular, no matter how hard these brands try and kill the characters, which do not get me started on that. They are trying their hardest to kill Spider-Man and Batman in the comics and in the movies. And in the damn game, you look at Spider-Man 2, look how fucking woke that game is. But neither here nor there. Loki is not going to save Marvel. I don't be expecting an episode by episode review for the rest of the season. When the season is over, I will do an overview for the entire season, because there's nothing to talk about. I feel like there's nothing to say on these episodes that is worth saying, because these episodes are just they're the fast food equivalent. They're not even fast food. These are the Dollar General frozen burrito equivalent of nutritional entertainment, right? So yeah, at the end of the series, I will put out a season review. If anything interesting happens, if something cool happens in episodes 4 or 5, I will talk about it. I will put out a review and I will talk about it. But it doesn't feel like it's moving forward. I feel like we've taken 3 episodes to do 3/4 to a full episode worth of story development. So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.
Thanks for stopping by. If you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on the X at CultureSailor1. I'll see you next time, and as always, fair winds and following seas.